Okay, so let's talk about one more concept from Marina Budik's work, A Virtualized World of Capitalism. And this is the concept that in Russian she calls присвоить, or another phrase that she uses is сделать своим, which basically translate as to make one's own, to reclaim. But what I think she means actually is more akin to embodiment. So the embodiment concept, of course, is connected to reclamation in a sense that once we reclaim the means of production, we also have to reclaim the means of ideology. We will have to build our own ideology. Of course, Marina doesn't say that, but I keep on insisting that we do this and we begin today. But what it implies is making something your own is not about ownership in the capitalist sense. Making something your own means that you truly understood something and you truly are able to use it in your life, and you understand the process that is behind something. And this is not just getting to know an area of study, getting to a certain level of expertise. This is more about truly making something your own. When you, for example, read a piece of literature and you study it, you analyze it, you come to conclusions, you look at all the mechanical aspects of that work, maybe you look at all of the components the author uses to create certain effects, you look at the themes, you look at the characters, the plot, etc., etc. But even if you analyze it very thoroughly, this piece of work still doesn't have to necessarily be your own. It can still be just an object in relation to yourself. You have a connection to the object, but you haven't embodied whatever this work may offer to embody. And now, when I talk about embodiment, what I mean is that you can embody the values, of course, and this is going to be indirectly. But when you embody philosophical concepts, this is when your life literally changes because you've understood the connections. And this is what happens when you study dialectical materialism. You slowly but surely start embodying the values. You become a lot less interested in a lot of the discourse that is happening in the capitalist world. You lose faith in the mythos, and that doesn't make you some kind of a nihilist or some kind of a hedonist. You do not lose touch with reality. You are not feeling yourself superior like you've exited the matrix. No, no, no. You just become much more aware of the fact that you will never win under capitalism. Even if you become one with the bourgeoisie, you will never fully, truly express your humanity whilst the capitalist production is at play. And this realization, even though it's pretty pessimistic and sad, it also brings to you the enrichment of the realized necessity or freedom when you realize that the connection to humans is what ultimately is the most valuable thing. And of course, organizing for a better future is necessary. It's not just a choice. It's not something you can or cannot opt out of. Whether you want to or not, you're going to have to participate somehow, either in the support of the current existing status quo and the system, or you will have to oppose it with other people. You cannot oppose it individually, you'll have to oppose it with other people. But meanwhile, when you realize that the connections to the people is what is of the greatest value to anyone, this is when you can really feel a change, and you can embody that change in your behavior, in your day-to-day activities. And this is when I think Marina Budik's concept of embodiment or making something your own is helpful. Because when you read literature, just as I gave you the example before, and to embody that piece of literature, whatever it may be, hopefully it's something good, then you're able to get whatever the essence of that piece of literature is, get whatever values and the message that the author is implying in that text, and you make it your own by living through with that knowledge while becoming a living example of that value. And this is something that we tell children all the time. We tell them about how literature provides them with examples and role models, but this does not stop once you become an adult. The embodiment of the values, the embodiment of the understanding is what we can and must practice today. And I'm really glad that Marina mentioned this, because this concept for a lot of Marxists may appear as somewhat metaphysical, but it is not, because we know that the material dictates the ideal. We know that the base dictates the superstructure or the ideology. So we must know that whatever it is we consume is going to shape us. And if we are beginning to participate in that process consciously, if we're willingly subjecting ourselves to reprogramming, if we're willing to make the changes necessary to become the types of people we want to see in the future, this is progress. And this is not the only thing you should be doing, okay? I keep on telling people that there are so many things they should be doing, but they shouldn't be discussing these things online, because you're being watched, okay? Whether you're small or big, as soon as you start becoming a nuisance or an inconvenience to the powers that be, you're going to feel it. You're going to know it. So be very careful about what it is you share online. But we can still talk about values and morals, and we can still talk about books and all these little philosophical texts. This is not an excuse not to organize with your fellow comrades anywhere where you are, but these philosophical concepts are insanely useful. If you just jump into organizing without any kind of theory, you're going to repeat the same mistakes that all the previous generations of socialists, communists, etc. have endured. So don't make a fool out of yourself, and use that body of knowledge that's already existing to your advantage. And if you start embodying whatever it is you get from the philosophical, theoretical frameworks, you're going to feel, you're going to see and observe a change, not only in yourself, but in your relationship with other people. So let me know what you think. Hopefully all of this made sense. Consider supporting me on Patreon. Do take care of yourself and your community first. Subscribe to me on all the other social medias, even though I don't do much there. I hope you have a great day today, and I'll talk to you sometime later.